If you think about the tone of Janet Yellen's speech at the end of March, it effectively took, at least the way we interpreted it, took the Fed away from the middle of the year. So the release of these minutes are significantly more hawkish. Certainly put the Fed in play for the summer. So yeah, we're surprised by that. I think the tone. It's not just jawboning here. We feel like there's a real intent there. So from a timing standpoint. I personally discount June only because of the UK referendum. That the Fed meeting is the week before that. So in my heart, I want to believe they would like to see that vote. So even if you look at market probabilities, June I think is around 35%, but if you go to July, it's up to 65%. So the debate is, which month.
I mean, June, July, summer, it kind of melds into each other. So neither here nor there. Maybe Cameron could do everybody a favor and maybe move the Brexit vote a week earlier or something like that.
That might work.
Yeah, you never really know, right? I did something which I normally wouldn't have done because often in the financial press, in the financial media, whatever, we talk about this stuff in a vacuum, sort of, in isolation, like, ooh, 25 bips, what is that going to mean? Ooh, like that. So what I did was I made a phone call, long distance call. I haven't done that in a long time, so I had to open my book and find out how to do that. And I called Mr. Brown at Western Community Bank in the little town, where the condo is. And I said, what's going to happen, if they go 25 in the summer and then 25 again at the end of the year? So 50, call it, by the end of the year. What's going to happen to my jumbo? And he said, maybe $20, $25 or something like that. Not a lot of money, Bernie. He said, I really wouldn't worry about that. I'd worry, there's a lot of people in the market for good properties who want to work at Amazon, Google, and all that because you're really close by here and all that. That's the answer I got, and I thought to myself, so why is everybody so worked up?
Well, I mean, we were in a zero rate environment for a really long period of time. If I was sitting in the Fed seat, I mean, if you think about their dual mandate, they've ticked the box from an employment standpoint, right? 5% headline. What they've been waiting for is inflation. I mean, you look at April CPI numbers. It looks trending and going to be over 2% for the remainder of the year. That ticks the other box. I mean, one of the things I think about as it relates to inflation. I mean, inflation is legitimately like the speedometer of the economy. And now I think when you look at the growth picture, I think we're approaching the speed limit. We've had the pedal to the metal, and it's time to take your foot off the gas. And slow it down. We're still going to be very accommodative, to your point, very accommodative even with one or two more moves. But given the data, I think it's time to do what they're doing.
We don't have crazy inflation, but we do have price pressures in there. You take the PCE apart and you look at it, and all the bars, all the components are actually moving up a little bit here, which tells me that, I mean, I don't want to get into a political thing here, because I'm a conservative at heart, and all that. I'm not party affiliated or anything, but. I think harping on about the deficit and all that doesn't work. I think talking about the lack of household income growth doesn't really make a difference right now because now is here. And when you're getting a couple 100,000 jobs, that's a couple 100,000 people with paychecks, and that means spending out there. So I'm not going to go back to the household income thing and the bar chart and the participation rate, because if you just take it in isolation, there are more people working and there are more people getting paychecks, and they're turning around and they're using that money for other stuff.
That's exactly right. And if you look at core CPI as an example and what the components that are pushing it, it's consumption and it's housing. So it supports what you're saying. So yeah, I think it's pragmatic. I think this is the right approach. We're excited to see it. We manage cash from the individual investor to huge multinationals, and the idea that we're going to be able to provide more income to them is meaningful.